Okay, thank you guys for all being here today. Now I want you to all close your eyes. So close your eyes and imagine being in a beautiful forest. Now this isn't just any type of forest. This forest has fruits and vegetables growing all around, and the fruits and vegetables are all healthy and nice and yummy. And imagine hearing the birds singing and the buzzing of the bees. Imagine reaching out and grabbing a piece of fruit and eating it. Now keep your eyes closed, but now I want you to imagine something very different. You're now in a flat and barren land. It's dark and dusty, and you see people in the distance walking towards you. Sadness is in their eyes, and as they approach you, through what little clothes they have, you see their ribs and they're starving. Now open your eyes. We've all seen campaigns or heard of campaigns that are asking for donations to feed those who are hungry, who are starving. And some of us may have donated to these organizations. Some of us may have just heard about them or maybe considered it. Either way, none of us like to see people who are starving or hungry. So, if a these organizations are doing a great job at bringing awareness to these hungry people, but they're not solving the problem of world hunger. So what's the solution? What if we could teach these people to be able to provide the food that they need for themselves? By implementing a permaculture into the land, the people would be able to learn how to provide food for themselves and become self-sufficient in that area. Aaron and I, my husband, we are on a journey to live healthier and happier. And as we go on this journey, we research lots of topics on growing things, on different lifestyles. And one of our recent topics of search have been permacultures. You're probably all wondering now what a permaculture is. So I'll tell you. A permaculture is a food forest or a garden of some sort that is self-sustaining. It takes care of itself. According to Scott London, someone who interviewed Bill Mollison, who is the father of permaculture, summed up permaculture by saying, permaculture, from permanent and agriculture, is an integrated design philosophy that encompasses gardening, architecture, horticulture, ecology, as well as money management and community design. And the basic approach is to create systems that can provide for themselves as well as recycle their wastes. I'm going to show you a video, and in this video it shows an example of what a permaculture can do with the land.
Wow, it's not every day that you see a scene like this, an oasis of lush verdant green created by nature, facilitated by good design. This is a very special scene. No maintenance, 80 years of fertility accumulated by water, designed to infiltrate into this arid landscape and create that scene. Outside, there's a hot, dry, dusty desert. In here, you couldn't believe you're in a desert. This is all green, lush and fertile and beautifully shaded and cool. Self-mulching, self-composting, soil creation. Look. Moist, crumbly. You couldn't make better soil than that. You couldn't. It's not possible. I'm going down 8 inches. Who needs compost? I feel so excited and hopeful. I feel so relieved. There are so many innocent people, little children out there suffering in dry lands, and they don't need to be. They just don't need to be. And they don't need to have these big debts to energy and consumption. This is nature facilitating its creative processes through good design. And we can teach, I could teach school children to do this. 5-year-olds, no problem at all.
So that's kind of an interesting video. In my mind, a permaculture is like the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was able to take care of itself. A permaculture works, David, a permaculture works by being designed in a way that everything is eventually able to take care of itself. Go ahead. So a permaculture uses natural qualities of plants and animals and using the natural landscape of where you're at. And it uses all those things to create healthy and nutrient-dense soils. And another thing that, so this is an example of a permaculture. Go ahead. This is a design of a permaculture. A permaculture can be a pretty intense project. There's so many things that you have to think about and consider when you're doing a permaculture. The most important thing is water harvesting. If your ground or your area doesn't have water, how's it going to grow anything, right? And so the best way is to make sure you have a way to keep moisture into the land and to move slowly through the land so that it eventually sponges it up and keeps it in. Go ahead. More things that are important when designing a permaculture is to take into consideration the grow zone, what grows in the grow zone, what kind of plants work together to create a thriving ecosystem, as well as the landscape itself. So is it on a hill, is it flat, however that works out. So permacultures can help solve world hunger in that they're self-sustaining and they can take care of themselves. So the people, all they'll need to do is harvest the food. They won't have to worry about watering or weeding or, tilling the ground or anything like that. In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, if families are in need of financial help or if they need food, they can meet with the bishop of their ward or congregation or area, and they can, the bishop will help them not only to receive the food that they need at that time, but will help them to come up with some type of plan so that they can eventually be self-sufficient or self-reliant. So that can be helping them to get a job, helping them to get rid of unnecessary expenses. And that's similar to how a permaculture can help the people in the world who are hungry to be able to take care of themselves. They'll be able to learn the necessary skills and knowledge to be able to create a permaculture that will take care of itself, so all they'll need to do is harvest the food. In this image, there is community members, and as you can tell, they're happy, and they have produce in their hands. And this was a permaculture project where the people, there were lots of orphans and vulnerable children, and so they created a permaculture so that they could have healthier and more nutrient-dense foods and lots more food. So a permaculture can help all these hungry people, all the people around the world. It can help solve world hunger. But how does a permaculture apply to you? How can you use a permaculture? One way is by, say you have a garden or a plot of land and you want to grow your own food or become self-sufficient. That's one way, is you can learn about the techniques of permaculture and apply them to your land, so you don't have to weed anymore, you don't have to water anymore, and you'll just be able to gather that food and eat it yourself. And so some ways that you can learn more about permacultures are by Googling. So you can Google permaculture or sustainable food forests. Some other ways are by buying books from Amazon.com or other online or local bookstores. You can also go to www.jefflawton.com, and this is one of our favorite resources because Jeff Lawton is actually the person in the video I showed you, and he is a world-renowned instructor and consultant of permaculture. And he has so many more videos and articles and just a wealth of knowledge. He even teaches design courses for permaculture. So now that you know what a permaculture is and how it can be implemented into the lives of those who are hungry as well as yourself, I encourage you to go and look up permacultures and learn even more so that you can implement it in your own life and so that we can work together to solve world hunger one permaculture at a time. Thank you. And if you could get one shot of the audience, that'd be awesome. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. I probably shouldn't have said something every time I saw you, but just pointed. So Aaron's just going to get a quick shot of everyone just so I can prove that I got my people.